Hello, Matt. How are you?
Nicholas, nice to see you today.
We've got a special guest again,
I'm
Luna.
excited.
Hi, everyone.
Today, I'm excited to welcome Luna, the creative force behind a brand that blends ritual, fragrance, and artistry to create a truly enchanting shopping experience. And it is truly enchanting. I've seen the store, and it is
Yeah.
the case. From tarot-inspired perfume and a Zodiac collection to uncrafted candle and tea, Silk Boutique is all about bringing a little everyday magic into people's life. Luna not only has built just a store, but it's a real community around creativity, ritual, and self-expression. I can't wait to dive into her journey, her inspiration today, and you guessed, and you listeners, this is very special because we've been talking with Matt that live shopping is a journey that you have to start small and then you crawl your way up to be successful in this space. What you're going to discover today is you can also do the complete opposite of that.
So our conversation today with Luna is going to be fascinating because, as you alluded to, Nicholas, Luna's kind of gone the opposite way. She's jumped in with both feet into the video commerce space, and now she's, without degrading her path, but kind of backing into traditional commerce, where most people start in the commerce space and then get into the video space.
If you're interested in the live stream space, now's a great time to break in.
In a few years, everyone will have changed their mentality.
Creator ecosystem is our new world. What they're missing is the world is now being run by creators.
I know that it's going to be a huge part of the future. Just get in there and just do it.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Live E-commerce podcast, the show for brands and retailers looking to elevate their video commerce game. Every week, we bring you insight, interview, and actionable tips to supercharge your video commerce strategy. And let's not forget a big shout out to our producer and sponsor, eStreamly, the go-to white label live stream and video commerce cloud software that's empowering brands across the globe. So buckle up for another episode and let's go.
So Circe Boutique is first and foremost, a metaphysical shop that is online. And when I say metaphysical shop, everything from crystals, tarot cards, tarot decks, pendulums, statues for deities. I mean, it's a full-on metaphysical shop online. And we developed our own brand centered around that. We found I was like, I can make this. I can make some of this stuff. Why am I not making it? And it developed it into its own brand. So we have everything from spell candles. We have jewelry that is specific with emblems that are meaningful for spiritual people of different backgrounds. I'm even developing my own oracle deck. That'll have a QR code and will play an affirmation, that kind of thing. So I'm developing all these products around ritual, wellness, and beauty. And this all came about because I started off on live sales, and I get so much amazing feedback from our viewers. Every day they come up with new ideas that I'm like, if I did them all, I would not sleep. But it's thanks to that feedback on the live sales that we've developed the brand that we.
So tell me, Luna, how did that whole started? Like one day you wake up and you're like, oh, I can do this. Maybe you start with one product and then you do like what, an Instagram live? Like where did it all start?
It was decades in the making. My background is in jewelry design and accessory design, and I started off everything from, back 25 years ago, I was a designer in fashion accessories, all the way to creative direction for a licensee of Disney, Marvel, Nickelodeon. Eventually I did product development for Walmart, and I did 10 different categories during COVID for them in the Arkansas headquarters. So my journey has been all over when it comes to fashion accessories. So I love creating product. I'll take like a matchbook and say, how can I make this very cool? How can I make this something that somebody wants to buy? I don't care what it is. I love creating. Now, during this time I was in the corporate America creating beautiful items, I was always doing Reiki healings. I was doing psychic readings. I went on YouTube and started getting a following there. So in my evenings, I was consumed with reading for people all over the world, including solving some cold cases as a psychic. So when it all came to a head and I was like, I don't want to work for somebody anymore, what do I do? It was a simple answer. I've got to create product, and I have to bring in my spiritual side into this one brand, and that's how it evolved. And a friend of mine said, hey, why don't you go on TikTok? And I said, well, I don't even have the app. How am I going to monetize this? She says, oh, you can do psychic readings. I said, I don't want to do psychic readings. I'm tired. That's exhausting. But I want to create products. So I downloaded the app. Before I knew it, I had a couple of stupid little videos. I had 1,000 followers. And in that interim of building my 1,000 followers within the span of a week and a half, I said, I can sell crystals. Lo and behold, I started off in my basement, outgrew that in 3 months. Now we're in our 4,000 square foot space that has a showroom where we shoot all of our TikToks, and we make all of our products, we ship it out and everything. So that's kind of how it evolved. And literally, I just turned on the camera, and the camera's falling over. It was a disaster that first.
One of the fear that people have about going live is like the moment you turn on the camera, they feel that thousands of people are going to show up and they don't know how they're going to handle this. And you and I, we keep saying the same thing.
No, I had 3 crickets show up. It was just crickets on the other side, and that's all I needed to get started.
Yeah. So, but that's interesting. You're telling the story that this is happening, but at the same time, what you just say too. Well, not really right away, right? Like building 1,000 followers in a week and a half. I am on Instagram. Okay, I'm not like the most wonderful creator on the planet. I kind of agree with that. I'm only at 350 free followers, but it's been 4 years. So,
Baby steps,
baby step. But I will tell you, 1,000 followers in a week and a half, you do have some.
You know what it was? It was the Ukraine-Russia war was hitting at that time. And I was like, I'm going to do a reading just to see what happens. And I put it out there. Everybody had a lot to say. And to this day, actually, I think that reading, it holds water. Yeah, I think I was pretty accurate. So that's literally like my first 2-3 videos. I was like, I'm going to just give my opinion. I don't care if I get bashed. And that's how I got the 1,000 some followers in a week. I had no plan on doing readings, like I said, but that's what I knew what to do. So
it all goes back like how much value do you provide, and if you provide value, people tend to come back to you. So I guess, but is it not fascinating, Matt? Like because what the audience doesn't know, like Luna is talking about her store she has. So first of all, that store is not like a store you can walk in like in the middle of Manhattan or anything. It's in the middle of Jersey. I went there, and it's on the second or third floor of like this old creepy, I won't say creepy, but
it is creepy.
Creepy building in a way. Okay, right. I have the right to say
Nicholas said, what did I just walk into?
I was like, I'm like, is it really the place? Yeah, it is. Okay, good. And first of all, the store is beautiful, but it's exclusively for lifestyle. And it's a real physical store like you will have into walking in Manhattan and like on the Fifth Avenue. That store could be there too. But interestingly, this operation, Matt, is a 14 people operation, right? This is not like live selling. Oh, like this is a mom selling on their basement, or like, an old dude selling like collection on whatnot or whatever. No, this is not this. This is a real significant business that have impact on 14 family. Crazy.
Luna, how long have you been live?
4 years now. 4 years.
4 years.
Started off on TikTok, yes.
4 years, and you started selling crystals.
Yeah. And very quickly, just because I like product, it turned into jewelry, and turned into tarot cards, it turned into beauty, like clean beauty. It turned into spell oils, which now we have 40 different styles of spell oils, and I can explain what that is. But these are all very niche products that I was able to create in-house, and it just started off with crystals. I don't even sell that many crystals anymore because I don't have time to talk to China at 3 a.m. anymore. But it's, we're focusing on our brand right now.
How many overall SKUs do you have today?
Oh boy. Just in our brand alone, we probably have about 200. This is the ADHD over here that I'm just constantly creating. And then the actual shop, when we go live on TikTok, not only do we show our brand, we show products that we bring in from third parties, and it's just everything that you can think of, a full-on metaphysical shop. So you have a couple thousand SKUs in a shop, and they're changing, evolving weekly.
Couple thousand, Matt.
A couple. Now, now you mentioned TikTok shop. That's not the only place you go live.
Right. Now, it's interesting because our bread and butter was always TikTok lives. The shop came in eventually, and that's really, taken on a life of its own without me having to turn on the camera. But now it was so exhausting. I have to be honest. It was so exhausting bringing in so much product and creating constantly and having this churning new product, a whole team dedicated to unboxing, putting barcodes, skewing, invoicing, all these things. It was just so exhausting. This is where how I met Nicholas. I said, how can I make this a seamless operation and smooth operation without having an invoice and all that? We never really found the right product for the thousands of SKUs that we have. So I've actually stepped back from TikTok lives, and we transitioned within 2 months. We transitioned into Whatnot. It's been a phenomenal success for us because it's all done in the background, and we found so much success that we're like almost 24/7 on Whatnot. And people love our products. I'm like, how do you guys even know we exist? And they just will bid really high on our products versus the stuff that's sitting on a shelf from your traditional metaphysical shop. So that's made it a lot easier for us to manage what we bring in, how we sell it, a lot less invoicing, a lot less nonsense. So we absolutely love Whatnot.
But what's interesting in that journey, right? So you started from TikTok, and then you added, I think, Instagram. You added some other platform. Mm-hmm. Found out that the success was with the TikTok algorithm, if I'm understanding properly, that was promoting you and so forth, but had the complexity of the product. And we know TikTok is much more complicated when you talk to bring on product, because they have a lot of stringency. They don't want to broadcasting, and I remember you had told me you had this whole setup.
Constant. And my big mouth would get me banned all the time. So yeah. One of the products, interestingly enough, is called tobacco cologne. It's a very common cologne that you use for spiritual purposes and this and that. Well, somebody says claim tobacco, banned, because they thought I was selling illegal substances. And then dumb me, I had a cannabis scented incense, banned.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about that. Like not just the product itself, but you're talking metaphysical type of things, beliefs, religious type of products. How restricted are you in your content in what you can and cannot say across all these platforms?
On TikTok, it's really hard. I think that of all of the platforms, we have gone live on Instagram with limited success. It's almost like crickets on the other side. I don't feel like that's been our audience, and neither has Facebook Lives. It's always been TikTok, and at the beginning, the algorithm would push us out, and we would have 100 people watching us out of nowhere, even in the beginning stages. So it was such an amazing success on TikTok, but with very stringent limitations, especially when you're dealing with spiritual items. We had to learn the hard way. What can we say? What can we not say? And all that has been so difficult for us that when we found Whatnot, we're like, you know what? I am done with this nonsense. It was just so difficult, so difficult.
So Whatnot doesn't restrict you in the same regard?
Yeah, I don't know. Like there were some random things that I didn't even make sense. There was a candle that we had in the shape of a skull, and it was a road opener candle to bring in opportunities and success. I don't know what about this candle. I don't know it was the word road opener. I don't know it was because it was a skull. I don't know what it was. It was giving us all these like violation notices in the background. We racked them up so bad that I hadn't even noticed that if we had done just one more thing wrong, the entire account would have been suspended. And at this point, I was just like, oh my gosh, what do we do?
Yeah. We talked about not building on rate and land, right? That's something that you and I, we've been talking a lot, and Luna has some dependency to TikTok, which when I met you, we're also looking at how do I remove that dependency, not so much removing, but like how do I spread out and build different places where I can actually, if something were to run wrong there, go there. I found fascinating like the response. So not every live are created equal, right? Not every audience are created equal. TikTok resonated. Instagram does not resonate. Facebook does not resonate. What else have you tried?
They come to the website. We use Shopify to invoice the people on TikTok. So eventually they do end up on the website, but they prefer to shop on our live sales because they get to see the thousands of products versus, hey, this is all we have to. And they would get all these promotions on TikTok. Every night we had to promote this and buy one, get one half off and this and that. So they prefer to purchase on the live sales versus the website. We're trying to shift that more and more, and just recently I said, you know what, we have to really convey the message that we're a live seller on this website. Yes, it's beautiful, it has great product, it showcases our product, but not really conveys the message that we are a live seller. So that's actually a work in progress that we're working on right now as we speak.
And so what does it mean to be a live seller?
What does it mean to be a live seller? That we get to connect with our customers on the spot, that we really get to talk about the product and the story behind the product, because there's so much to say about it. Just with one of the a couple hundred that we have, like I mentioned, the spell oils. What the heck is a spell oil? If you're new to your journey, people ask, how do I use this? What is this for? What is it made out of? Am I allergic to it? Am I not? And I can sit there and talk about for 10 minutes on this just one oil and tell you how to use this on your spiritual journey. So it's like such a perfect platform to tell the story.
So, Luna, do you go in, and this is, my background is QVC and live shopping through home shopping networks, QVC, HSN, and we have what we call blueprints. And the blueprints contain the content of what we want to speak about. And we repeat the most important things over and over, because in our world, the customer is constantly tuning in and tuning out. Do you come up with guidelines on what your influencers and what you want to say, or do you follow the stream of conversation through your customers of their questions through the live stream?
So the blueprint almost happens backwards, because what happens is I might launch a product tonight and I think that they care about these 5 things, but as the live sales progress, I will find that they're asking the same things, and that's where my live hope, myself and my co-host will say, you know what, they're really asking about this. Let's make sure that we highlight these 5 other points so they understand what this is, at a glance. In 15 seconds we can explain, and that's how it kind of works. We just evolved that way.
Amazing. Instant feedback loop on the product creation to reposition the product the right way, almost in the instant. Funny, fascinating. For the audience that is still like, okay, you're telling me you're going live 24/7, you have thousands of products you sell. Can you walk us through, like, how do you do that?
Well, what it was just a month ago and what it is now are 2 different things. What it has been for 4 years has been a full-on, I think it's about maybe 1,500 square feet of store or showroom, where we had part of it the Cersei brand, and the other half was the magical area, where you do see the statues and the books and everything that any modern witch would want. So we would actually turn the camera, and because no one wants to see my face, I have so many products that I have to show, nobody wants to bother with my face. So we would turn the camera and we'd literally walk the showroom, and people would say, hey, can you show me the jewelry? And all of a sudden we're showing the jewelry and everybody jumps in and starts claiming. I have somebody in the background literally pulling the piece off the shelf, putting it in a basket so it can be invoiced the following day. It's a lot of work. So that's not even talking about me shopping at 3 a.m, getting it unboxed, getting it barcoded, getting it set up beautifully and merchandised and displayed for every night, and me setting up the promotions for every night, because we've got to change it up because that's what people want. So it was exhausting. So up until, like I said, just a couple months ago when we started transitioning to Whatnot, we divided our showroom space to make it a little bit more condensed and really highlight more of our product versus all this other stuff that we were bringing in, because we found that on Whatnot, people really are liking and interested in our product, and we were getting higher bids on that. So I said, yes, please, thank you. So we condensed our showroom space, and we actually have a secondary showroom space now. You saw it, Nicholas, that it was kind of an empty office. We've created a secondary showroom space, and we're highlighting our product. And so it's made it easier for not only my team, myself, but just the selling process. They're pulling things off the shelf, so it works out for us.
I have 2 questions, Luna, on that. And you mentioned walking through your showroom and pulling product off the shelf as they were being ordered. So 400 SKUs for what's your, like, that's your product. What's your average price point? Like,
average price point, I would say $16. It's pretty comparable. Like, if you want to compare it to like Bath and Body Works, you can get a shower gel like in a similar price range.
$16. And how deep do you buy each product? How much inventory do you have on the individual SKUs?
So when anything that's Cersei brand, we make it. Like, if we're selling it, we make it on the spot. I make sure that we always have the materials that we need to create it, which is sometimes a challenge because I've got to get packaging done in China, and we buy some of our materials locally in the U.S. From different places. So if we're selling something, something's a hot seller, I want to make sure that we have the materials to produce it.
So anywhere from a couple hundred to a couple thousand units per product, depending on what you think, how great it'll sell.
Yeah, like we launched these body lotions, sprayable body lotions, the Halloween collection, and right now we can't make it fast enough. We're just.
One thing that's interesting, Matt, that also surprised me is like if you think about the floor layout. So I would say the majority of the space that Luna has is for that two-store locations, right? Mm-hmm. But then you've got another area where there's the whole packing, and then they have like some sort of like advanced manufacturing part. So obviously, you've got a real full warehouse with products that are ready to go, ready to ship, ready to invoice, and so forth. But you also have a part of the business where it's more like, okay, we produce to order.
Yeah, so we also sell on fair.com, which is a wholesale portal. And we'll get an order for so many units, and we got to make it and send it out within a week or so. So yeah, and that's obviously our own product. So
yeah. You mentioned Whatnot is your biggest selling app, correct? Currently.
At this moment, yes, it's turned into that.
Okay, and then you said your average selling price is around $16, depending on the product you're selling. Are there situations where how do you price? How do you start the bidding? And are there situations where you lost out on that one, or you it sells out so quickly you're like, oh, I should have priced that higher because it sold so quickly. Like, how do you balance the bidding process? Because that whole process is becoming more and more popular, and I've never really found myself understanding completely where's the margin come in, where's the profit come in for the vendor.
Yeah, and I hear you. Yesterday, we had 2 lives, one in the afternoon and one in the evening. The afternoon was like, ouch, ouch. We're like scraping by with just the covering our costs. And the evening, I mean, we killed it. So we do have the occasional lives where you're like, yikes, we got to be smart about what we're going to put on. So what I try to do is when that happens, we try to, number one, not always start at $1. We have a $1 start, a $3 start, and $5 start. And anything that we put on air, we want to fall in within that cost. So even if we only made $1, we're at least not losing money.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, when we're growing so fast, within 2 months, we have 5,500, 5,600 followers in 2 months, and they're loyal. They keep coming back. And just 20 new viewers are shopping with us. Every live, we have 20 new shoppers with us. So that helps get the bidding a little bit higher. So we're finding that for the most part, it is profitable. Is it always? No. But we try to cover ourselves with at least covering the cost of the goods with the starts. And 2, we run flash sales. And flash sales have helped us kind of compensate for that. Even though we're marking it down 20% and running the flash sale for a minute, we're making sales. So
speaking of that new audience, when those people do the checkout, what kind of information are you getting? Is it like completely anonymized, or do you know those person and can you retarget them through regular retargeting campaign?
Interesting. I haven't looked at retargeting, but what we do get from Whatnot is we'll get their Whatnot name. It could be like, something, like kind of like a TikTok username. Then we will have their actual full name and where the address is that we're going to be shipping to. So we have that information. As far as retargeting, I haven't, because we're so new to the platform, we haven't explored that yet. But that's definitely something to take on, because we have these beautiful newsletters that we send. Now, Whatnot is very specific about, if you're going to get a violation, you're going to get it here. If you start sending people out of the platform, if you start selling to them outside of the platform. We actually just redesigned our postcard. The thank you postcard has a QR code that gives them a 15% off on our website.
You built this huge, this very, very large following. Would you say more than 60% or more are repurchase consumers?
A lot of them come back.
A majority of them come back. So that puts the pressure on you to keep giving them new. So untested products. So you can't go back to the well over and over because they've either made a decision that they don't want it or they already own it. Either way, they're probably tuning you out because they've seen this product before. So that puts added pressure on you and your team to continue to create new to keep your core customer engaged, correct?
So true. And that was the challenge on TikTok lives, that every night they wanted something new. So what we ended up doing is I ended up whittling down our very expansive collection into the core good sellers, and we have the limited editions coming in. It creates a sense of urgency. It keeps me creating. It keeps them engaged. So every live, they're like, "Oh, I like your Zodiac candle. Can you make it a body butter?" I'm like, "Can I? I can make that." And we'll run it for a couple of weeks. And just last night, we launched our Zodiac body butters. They sold out on Whatnot. So, and it's limited edition. So the next thing will be something else. And we're listening to our customers to see what they're asking for.
Now, Nicholas, you might be able to answer this, or Luna. Like, so if she feeds the new to her existing customer base, what's that doing with the algorithm? Like, I always assume like the TikTok algorithm, and I know they're all different, but like repeat product over and over and over is going to grab that algorithm and get you reposted more and more and more. If Luna has the strategy, because the customer base is so loyal, of keep giving them new, is that disrupting her algorithm? Is that hurting her visibility across platforms, or isn't that a factor?
So the algorithms, at least on TikTok, it was very common for us. Even though it was new product, we were always using similar hashtags. There was always like witch talk, spiritual talk. It was always the same hashtag, so they know where to put us. And that worked out just fine. And people would, like I said, come back night after night. We have people that like literally used to watch me in my basement days, and they even refer to like, "Hey, the basement days, I remember." And we have those people still watching us today. And now that we transition mostly into Whatnot, a lot of those people, now I don't have exact data, and I wish I did because we haven't analyzed it fully yet, but a lot of the people that watched us on our TikTok lives, that we're saying, "Hey, goodbye, you're going to see me just once a week on TikTok live," those people are joining us on Whatnot.
Oh, wow.
And they'll say, "We'll follow you wherever the heck you go. We don't care. We got to get our Cersei product."
So with that say, Luna, I know you have thought about making your own website or like your own channel, something you own and develop. What is the hesitation about starting to kind of own that own journey for yourself? Like, where is the friction point?
I think that it's just the algorithm is so beautiful on both Whatnot and TikTok that they push you out to an audience that didn't even know you existed. And with us just working strategically just on the website, we would have to have like a really strong marketing strategy to make sure that we pull people in from all these other places. And I don't think we figured that out 100%.
But what about just as a touch point, like, you're doing the once a week on TikTok, why not doing the once a week on the site for 2 hours to progressively transition some of that audience to that spot? And then first of all, you normally should have higher margin on that place, but also you have more control and over that audience, knowing who they are and so forth. So I'm just curious, like, on that strategy, why is it something that have you thought about this? And
I have, and I think that was like the point where I was just like, how am I going to get all these people on my site? Which it hasn't been a strong seller for us to get people on the site because they were just so inclined to shop with us in all these other platforms, like TikTok and now Whatnot. But you know what? You're bringing up a good point. Now you're getting me thinking. I'm like, it's not a terrible idea. I think that we should try this. Why not?
And Nicholas, isn't it amazing? Like all these other, companies 10 years old or older, like they started in e-com. That was the only place you could find them, is their website. And they had a marketing campaign, hopefully, to bring customers to their website. For you, Luna, because of your content, I would think at minimum, you'd want to create an educational platform on your site, deeper dive into the education behind what you're speaking about on the live stream. So if we didn't answer all your questions tonight, go to our website, find out more content there. Otherwise, blah blah blah, and then you could have you could sell the product on your website. Now, I know that TikTok doesn't allow you to send the audience to your website. So I don't know how Whatnot works
I
that way.
think there's ways to do it because actually I see a lot of people advertising their Whatnot account on their TikTok videos. So I think there's and we did that. We did a couple of videos saying, hey, we're now on Whatnot, and we didn't get banned. So I think there's something.
I think just further education would only help your sales. If she
But I
really
love it. I
truly
love it because
understands.
every night it's like, how do I use this? How do I use that? I'm new to my spiritual journey, and I can talk about just for an hour on just one of those products. And so I think that's such a great point. I mean,
So,
why
so
would
I,
you have it?
I have a question for you now. How many people do you think you are touching over a month? Have you ever looked at this and through live streaming?
I don't have that figure in front of me, to be honest. But yeah, it's a rotate. Now, we might have touched them for 3 seconds, and some of them might have been like a full 3.5 hours while we're live. So it's like
Yeah.
But would you say it's in excess of 10,000?
at least 30,000 because on TikTok when we were going live every night, we were getting at least 2,000 new or 2,000 viewers in one live stream, and that's
And so Matt, to your point, so we're talking about 30,000 people per month coming for shopping, right? For the one that know how to look at website traffic, you will be very surprised with how few users she actually has on her site. So she's reaching that audience is there. It's not on the website. To your point, Matt, typically when I talk to a merchant, I'll say, oh, your video commerce is about anywhere from a fifth to maybe at the best 25% of your actual website traffic. And that's actual shopper, not viewers that are just swiping for swiping, right? This is not like followers that are on Insta that are just putting a like to Luna walking around and with their dog or anything. That's not that content. This is selling content, telling the story with a call to action that is very clear, and people are doing it. And that's a real business of 14 people living out of that. I think that's super fascinating. Luna, what is next for you? Like, what's the next thing that excites you?
Yeah, so going back to the education part of it real quick, that's I think a missed opportunity for us because every night we do get a lot of people saying, can you offer classes? Can you offer a master class? Can you offer, and that's been something that's been in the back burner that I really wanted to have some sort of either app that they can subscribe to and get content or even get an opportunity to speak to me on a one-on-one consult basis. Have something so we can educate that customer because there's such a need there. Now, what's the evolution? Yeah, that could be part of it, the educational part of it. But right now, I really love the idea that you brought up when you came to visit, Nicholas, of like, there's several businesses that have 3-4 hosts going live on Whatnot and all these various places. And we're actually, after this call, I'm going to be interviewing a couple of couple people that are interested in being live hosts for us. So there's that opportunity on the live selling part to really have 2-3 people going live on different shops 24/7. I think that's the next evolution of that. Now, as far as a traditional business sense, we're expanding on different marketplaces like Walmart, Target, Amazon. We're really pushing our brand, and we have a new business development manager that will hopefully open doors for us in specialty retailers like the Whole Foods and things like that. Yeah. So that's where we're heading.
Matt, I hope that the audience would have catch that if this is not the future of commerce, then I think we're missing out.
I mean, Luna, your story is inspirational and amazing. So again, if you want to search her website, it's CIRCE boutique.com. But you're going to find Luna on all these selling apps, and that is the core of her business, and she's growing probably faster than she can handle. So it's
I know.
exciting to hear how you're doing this, especially with a metaphysical, ethereal, product mix.
Niche. So niche.
My
husband says, "Don't do anything spiritual." I started it anyways behind his back.
Niche, Nicholas, she just said niche. How often have we talked about that? The more niche the product mix is, the better brands we've talked to do with live streaming.
Yeah,
it's the DNA of what the discovery of what live streaming is turning into.
Mm-hmm. It absolutely is. You're going to find your audience no matter what you sell. I don't care if it's bedazzled socks. You're going to find your audience.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
I hope you as an audience, you love this episode, obviously, please go check Luna on all the different social. We'll put that on the show note of this episode. We are here every Friday, 11 a.m. on LinkedIn, as well as you can find us on YouTube under the handle Extremely, and on your podcast, your favorite podcast channel, the Live E-commerce Podcast. Luna, it's been fantastic. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you so
being
much
here.
for having me. This has been a blast. Thank you.
Luna, thank you. Thank you very much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.